Lê Bích Trâm xin kính chào quý khán thính giả của Người Việt TV. Ngày hôm nay là ngày thứ Sáu, mùng 3 Tây tháng Giêng 2025 và chúng tôi đang đứng ở ngay trước mặt tiền của tòa nhà Quốc hội US Capitol, nơi mà trong chốc lát sẽ diễn ra lễ tuyên thệ nhậm chức của dân biểu tân cử Trần. Và kính thưa quý vị, tòa nhà Quốc hội gợi nhớ một cái cảnh bạo loạn năm xưa, phải không ạ? Vào ngày 6 tháng Giêng, nhưng mà một lát nữa thì chúng ta sẽ nói thêm về vấn đề này. Lê Bích Trâm tường trình từ thủ đô Hòa Thịnh Đốn cho quý khán thính giả của Người Việt Online. Thưa quý vị, Bích Trâm đang đứng ở đâu? Ngay trước văn phòng của tân dân biểu luật sư Trần. Quý vị thấy cái bảng Representative Derek T. Tran, ESQ, tức là chức vụ là Congress California, và số văn phòng của anh ta là 11277, và tên của cái tòa nhà này đó là tòa nhà Longworth, là một trong nhiều tòa nhà ở xung quanh tòa nhà Quốc hội đó, thưa quý khán thính giả. Và hiện diện cùng với Bích Trâm đó là tiến sĩ Đinh Xuân Quân. Xin anh Quân gửi lời chào đến quý khán thính giả của Người Việt Online.
Xin kính chào quý khán thính giả.
Câu hỏi rất nhanh. Tại sao mà anh Quân, gia đình anh lại cất công bay từ California sang đây để mà tham dự lễ tuyên thệ nhậm chức của dân biểu Trần?
Vâng, Bích Trâm cũng biết là tôi là independent, không có bao giờ ủng hộ ai, và đây là lần đầu tiên sau 50 năm mới có một dịp có một ông dân biểu người Việt, nghĩa là người Mỹ gốc Việt. Vì vậy tôi đã hết mình ủng hộ cho dân biểu này, và dân biểu này đã thắng, và chúng tôi đang đợi ông ta tuyên thệ.
First of all, congratulations, and we are so proud of you. So, sitting here today as a congressman, what does it mean for you to be the very first Vietnamese American congressman to represent the Vietnamese community for the 5th district?
So it's a little surreal, but I would say it's a great honor and very heartwarming to know that I've been put on this path by the help and the votes of the community who wants me to be here to be able to share their experiences with the nation in this seat at the national capital. So it's truly an honor for me to be here, and it's something that I don't take lightly. That I want to make sure that when I work here in DC, it's always with the mind and the heart to make sure that my community is at the forefront of everything I do.
So, Congressman Tran, as an Army veteran and a workers' rights advocate, and now a representative of California 45 and Little Saigon, what are some of your core values, and how do you bring them to the people that you serve?
You know, I think for me, it has to do with the fact that growing up in a household with parents who worked so hard to make sure that their kids had a future, that they instilled in me the sense of making sure that I not only work hard, but I do so in a way that is with a lot of character, that is ethical, and to always make sure that I'm not harming others, right? It's a way of making sure that we serve our community, but at the same time, holding on to those values that were taught to me. And I'll share as a veteran, there's a couple of things that the Army teaches us. One of them has to do with integrity. One of them has to do with selfless service. And it's really about making sure that we continue to keep that in mind, and I continue to keep that in mind as I take on the task of this very tremendous role that I've been given.
Your first term in Congress under very difficult situation, as I see, because the other side take the control of the House. What's your plan to overcome that?
You know, I think when we look at the situation that's in front of us, whether it's a Republican or a Democratic controlled House, we have to look at where there's opportunities for the not just the Democratic Party, but just any congressional member who wants to be able to advance their legislation, their bills to protect and to serve and to bring back resources for their community. So if I come into this looking at the parties, then I'm going to be doomed for failure. But if I come into this looking at this as an opportunity for me to work with the other side to see how I can bring back better resources for our community, figure out how I can work with the other side and my own party to make sure that we are keeping the American people's interests at top of mind.
What are your plans or things in your first terms? I mean, so it will be second or next and next. So in this first term, what is your priority plans?
That's an interesting question. I think for me, a lot of what I want to do is to make sure that the interest of our community is protected, and that includes listening to them, making and knowing that this last election cycle they made clear that the economy, that immigration, that safety is paramount, is very important to them. So that's something that I'm going to have in my mind when I work on bills and I work on figuring out how to make sure I protect the interest of my community. That being said, there is one thing that we keep talking about in Orange County, and it's the Little Saigon area. San Jose has a community resource center for their Vietnamese Americans. Yet Little Saigon, the largest Vietnamese community outside of Vietnam, does not have one. So I want to work on a project like that. I want to make sure I figure out how I can bring back funding so we can build something like that for not just our seniors, but our community.
Thank you.
Today we first see you for your first sworn in, and we also see you for your first vote to elect the speaker. So can you share your feeling when you make the vote in the House chamber?
Yeah, I think it's a very powerful moment that you're in a room with 365, I think 364 today, other congressional members. And to be able to be in that room where your vote has so much say, so much power is something that I acknowledged, and also, it's something that you have to accept. That with this power comes great responsibility, and I voted my conscience. I voted for who I believe would be a better leader for the House.
What's your thought on the recent passing of President Jimmy Carter, who's a benefactor of the Vietnamese people?
President Carter it does not get enough credit, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I extend my sincerest condolences to his family. I'm hoping to find some time to attend the services for him in Washington, D.C. to pay my respects. Because anyone who takes on the task of running for president and serving their country, and then leading the charge for Habitat Humanity, that's someone that we have to respect and honor.
Can you share the importance of our Vietnamese American community to have a seat at the table to make a decision at Washington, D.C.?
I think it's a very powerful testament to where we're at right now, to be able to have someone with our background and our heritage to be at the nation's capital. I've been asked to co-chair the Vietnam caucus with Congressman Lou Correa and Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, and it's my hope that in that capacity that I can do more and also share the issues that we face as a community, what's important to us with not just the Vietnamese caucus, but also the CAPAC, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, because it's about education, about really expanding the knowledge of these other groups and individuals about what we go through. And with the 50-year anniversary coming up, there is no better time for someone in this role to really take charge and lead that effort to expand the knowledge of these congressional members of what we went through and how important it is for us to commemorate such a big anniversary.
Congressman, a number of your voters also voted for President Trump. How do you plan to strike that balance when you're in office? How do you plan to work with the Trump administration or the president himself to serve these people?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, for me, it has to do with bills that benefits my constituents. So as long as there are good bills from the Republicans, Democrats, and President Trump wants to sign it, that's something that I will put my name on and I will vote for.
Can you point to something specific that you might want to do?
In
terms of bills?
I don't have, well, let me back up. I think there's a lot of things I want to do, but what I want is very different from what the reality is and what's practical in the next couple of years. I would, if the Democrats had control of the House and there was a Democratic president and Senate, I want to do more measures such as inflation reduction so we can cap more medication costs, because those are the things that are important to our seniors, right? It's important to anyone who has to pay for our high cost of medication. So there's great bills like that, and California being where we are is such a infrastructure. It's such a priority to make sure that we have more funding to continue to expand rail, to continue to expand our freeway. Such an important thing. Furthermore, I would say that there's a lot of issues as it relates to immigration, and I want to make sure that we remember that we came to this country, and it was through hardship, and it was not easy. But we cannot shut the door behind us. But that doesn't mean that we have open borders either. It just means that there has to be a process in which people can apply for asylum, refugee status, and come to this country and make a living and and live the American dream, just like my family did.
And one more question, just to circle back to Congressman Lou Correa's mentioning of human rights in Vietnam. Can you give us a little preview of your approach to this issue, democracy and human rights in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think this is something that is near and dear to who I am and what I've been doing in my campaign. I invited Whip Catherine Clark to come to the district, Leader Hakeem Jeffries, to listen to some of the stories so they understand what's going on in Vietnam. And it's through what I said earlier, being able to educate, being able to share our not just our experiences, but our viewpoints of what's going on in Vietnam with leadership and other congressional members, that we're going to be able to make a change in Vietnam and be more forceful on certain things to protect human rights.
Thank you.
Sorry, the congressman would take one more question.
Many people across the country, they follow your campaign. So excited about how you be elected. So how do you envision your impact to the Vietnamese American community, especially the youth, to get involved more in politics?
I hope to serve as an inspiration, as an example to the younger generation. It's not easy to close out your business, to give up your high-paying job, to run for something like run for office at this level and not make money, right? And doing this for a greater good. So my message to the youth out there is that I was always taught by my parents that when you have the means, you give back and you do what you can to help others, right? And I'm very blessed that my wife and I have our business, she has our pharmacy, we have 3 amazing kids, and I can give back. And this is my way of giving back. And I hope that our next generation will continue to be able to do that and understand that there's more to life than making money, but really there is a great satisfaction in being able to serve your community, serve your the Vietnamese Americans that did so much to get to this point. and added so much value to this country. Thank you.
A very last request to the Vietnamese community in Little Saigon. I know you represent the whole district, but to the Vietnamese, you are their son, their brother, and everything. Can you send a message in Vietnamese to your district right now?
I'll share that. Thì Derek cũng muốn nói là một tiếng là cái tiếng cảm ơn của tại vì Derek được cái opportunity này. I want to represent my. I want to do it in a way that makes them proud. It's very hard to say, but the weight of the community that is on my shoulders as their son, as their brother, as their nephew, is one that's very great. But it is my hope that I will continue to demonstrate trả ơn by working very hard to make sure that my community is proud of me, and not just that they have something that they can point to that I did that was substantial, and it's not just all talk.
Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Và vừa rồi là phần tường thuật của Lê Bích Trâm cho Người Việt TV về lễ tuyên thệ nhậm chức của dân biểu tân cử Derek Trần. Cảm tạ quý vị đã theo dõi. Xin kính chào tạm biệt.